I'm Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometer. You can see this manufacturer movement Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometer on our website. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch, with additional accessories included, high resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, the 2012 to present Marine Chronometer fulfills the aesthetic promise of the very first of the wrist-borne Ulysse Nardin Marine Chronometers, that hailing from 1996. Always a scintillating sight on the wrist and distinctly different from any other manufacturer's sports watches. Most marine models also featured ETA calibers, so while the look was spectacular, the workmanlike movement inside, some felt, just wasn't quite up to the degree of pedigree promised by the aesthetic of the watch. Well, as of 2012, that gap has been bridged with the caliber 118 that you see in this watch today. First and foremost, though, I want to talk about the fit of the watch on my 16 centimeter wrist. Now, you can see this is the 43 millimeter variant of the watch. A 45 also exists. The watch has a stainless steel case that's fairly slim considering the degree of complexity. A automatic movement with a modular power reserve, 14 millimeters thick. There is a little bit of a slope to the bezel, so you can fit the watch underneath most sweater, blazer, or sport jacket cuffs. Now, the watch from lug to lug measures 51 millimeters, but that may not be the operative measurement here, because there is a little bit of a flair that is endowed upon the watch by the hinged strap, but the hinged strap is also the key to letting this watch, which is quite large, wear comfortably on a smaller wrist like mine. Now, I'm going to open up the superb double deployant clasp. Ulysse Nardin equips this watch with a titanium clasp for lightness. It's a different material than the case itself, and that again strictly to lighten the total load of the watch. Now, it is trigger deployed, so you need positive release. It can't simply pop open. It is not friction fit. And you can see how the unique articulated strap, a longtime Ulysse Nardin signature, allows the strap to bend in spite of being rather large and connected to rigid, flared lugs. It's very easy to get this watch around a smaller wrist because of that double articulated hinge. It's also important to note that in the modern era, Ulysse Nardin is now fitting them asymmetrically, understanding that a watch tends to sit a little bit higher toward the wrist bone on a normal human wrist. Ulysse Nardin has ergonomically adjusted the architecture of the strap system so that it sits correctly given the way people tend to actually wear their watches, hence the single-sided hinge. It fits more flush to the wrist and it sits more securely. Now, you'll also note that the strap itself thins out considerably as it moves away from the hinges, so much so that it actually becomes exceptionally supple. One of the thinnest, smoothest, and most comfortable I've encountered. It is a natural vulcanized rubber, and with relief channels underneath, it's even pretty good at releasing heat, grit, and moisture from underneath the wrist on a hot day. It is a 200-meter water-resistant sports watch, so that arrangement is quite apropos from an ergonomic standpoint. Now, the dial of the watch recalls Ulysse Nardin's 19th century and 20th century deck clocks or marine chronometers. The layout is almost exactly the same. The principal distinction, of course, being the date window at 6 o'clock, but it's cleverly integrated, and the watch has a vertical axis that is wonderfully symmetrical and really defines the order of complications and order of functions. You have the power reserve. Now, thanks to the in-house caliber 118, a full 60 hours. You have pair hands, gorgeous luminescent pair hands at center. The entire dial of the watch is lightly illumined, so in the tradition of sports watches, you can view it in low or no light. Of course, constant seconds at 6 o'clock, and you'll note that if I pull the crown to extremity, I do hack the balance, stop the seconds, allowing me to precisely synchronize this marine chronometer to a known accurate reference time or atomic clock. Finally, the watch features a clever feature that I'm surprised more manufacturers don't include on modern in-house calibers, and that's a quick set date that actually moves in both directions for easy correction. Should the watch run down, you can rapidly cycle it back to the correct date. Now, the dial has beautiful details, everything from the metallic race of the power reserve scale. It has a beautiful brushed, almost stainless steel look to it, to the depth of the dial, featuring a rehaut that slopes down and actually bears the luminescent pips for each of the stylized Roman numerals, to the gorgeous lacquer of the dial, and it is a lacquered dial, so it has that look like enamel, almost like it's wet, almost like it has depth. It's almost like you're looking into the gloss finish. And then there is a little bit of a cutout, a countersink for the sub-seconds at 6 o'clock, and a small magnifier for the date window. The The details really lift this watch. Everything from the coined bezel to the flamboyant individual numbering on the case flank in the style of the old marine chronometers. And then you get to the movement itself, which features a silicon amagnetic hairspring, a very shock-resistant full balance bridge and free sprung balance. Now 60-hour power reserve as mentioned. With 50 joules, it has a very efficient unidirectional winding system borne on unlubricated ceramic rotor bearings for a sealed for life durability to keep this component from ever needing service. Now the watch itself is handsome, but it's very much a vintage tribute. Happily, it finally takes the standout aesthetic of the Marine series, which really sets Ulysse Nardin's sports watches apart from everything else in the industry, and it combines that standout look with standout engineering. You can see it and you can buy it on our website.